What's up, peoples? Today I wanted to talk about the current state of South African football. Hey, South African football is in a good place. That's what I wanted to say. Yes, guys, the PSL is a very strong league in Africa. It is the best league in Africa. In fact, that is not an opinion. I think it's a fact. Not because there's a bias, because obviously I'm from South Africa and obviously I'd say that, hey, our league is the best league, it's better than this league, it's better than that league, and that league, so on and so forth. I don't say that only because Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates, for the vast majority of the past 10 years, they've been carrying this league to some degree, also on the continent. More so Mamelodi Sundowns with their recent success, as they are the reigning, defending CAF Champions League champions, basically, if that's a word. Apart from the playing side and the clubs, today I wanted to really speak about the coaching in South Africa and how it is being seen on the African scene, I saw something this morning on Blitz. It said Manqoba Mnqethi has been signed by Young Africans. The champions, the reigning champions of Tanzania, one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest club in East Africa in the modern era. They're definitely the biggest club in Tanzania. I mean, over history and in the past decade. They've dominated the past 5 seasons on the charts in Tanzania. So, Manqoba is taking on a big challenge. And I don't think winning the league is going to be enough. This club is looking to push also on the continental scene. Because, why would have the coach have left? The guy who just won the league with them, why would he have left? I don't know why he left. I didn't research why he left. But you'd assume that the only reason that guy left is because of continental success, not domestic success. You see, he got himself a move to East Africa, and I'd say at this point in time, he resurrected his career. I mean, his career at this point in time, it looked like, it was coming to a decline, as we all know, he came from Lamontville Golden Arrows, went to Mamelodi Sundowns, and now went back to Lamontville Golden Arrows. Whereas many people would have seen that as a step down in his career, myself included. Now, the man is going to Young Africans. And finally, his career is looking to be back on the right trajectory. Forgive me if I butchered that word. I may have. You see, it's one thing when you see coaches like Urulani Mukwena getting big moves to Wydad Casablanca or even MC Alger, Or when you see coaches like Peter Mosimane when they're leaving Sundowns and they go into Al Ahly Cairo, and they're actually winning trophies. They're winning the Champions League, as he did, on the bounce, on the trot. It's one thing when you see those big public figures leave the country for greener pastures. But when you see coaches like Manqoba Mina, no disrespect to him, but I see him in a lower tier. So definitely a lower tier to Pitso Mosimane. Maybe he's on the same level as Urulani, could be slightly lower. But I see that as a positive thing when I see coaches like him getting a chance at big African nations, at big clubs in these African nations, if I may put it that way. Because at first, a couple of years ago, I thought it was a coincidence when, I know you guys might remember, Coach Faldo Davids from Maritzburg United. I mean, he was at Maritzburg United during the 2022-23 season. He then left the following season after giving Maritzburg United a stable finish. He left, was up for a new challenge. He left and went to Morocco to be assistant coach at Raja Casablanca. In his tenure there as assistant coach at Raja Casablanca, he secured a historic undefeated domestic double in the Botola Pro League and Throne Cup. That is massive. That is big. That is big. That is big for a guy who was not coaching at the highest level in South Africa. As much as he was not the one at the helm at Raja Casablanca at that time, but he was the right-hand man of the person that was at the helm at Raja Casablanca at that time. And to me, I see that as a big deal. That's a big deal. After that, he went to Simba. A year later, he went to Simba as head coach this time. He went to Simba as head coach, also a Giants in East Africa, a sleeping Giants in Tanzania, a fierce rival of Young Africans of Manqoba Mnisi. So he went there in 2023-24. He briefly coached there, and by the way, he took Simba to their first and only ever continental final appearance, if I'm not mistaken, in the CAF Confederations Cup, which is massive. That is a massive achievement. Unfortunately, they lost the final. The following season, he left and then he came back to Raja. Okay, Raja, they didn't have an amazing season because I'd assume that a club of Raja's standards, maybe as much as they wouldn't be challenging to win the league, but they'd be challenging to finish in the CAF Champions League position, at least in the top two. Unfortunately, they just missed out. They finished third. They missed out on the league title by 4 points. I don't think that's a bad achievement. For a guy who's coming back into the job, this was his first season back, and he finished third. He finished only 4 points behind. He finished 13 points ahead of the most decorated club in Moroccan history. You guessed it, Wydad Casablanca. I mean, that is a phenomenal feat. That is a phenomenal feat. I didn't even think that actually happened. I didn't believe it up until I researched it. And I still couldn't believe my eyes. I still couldn't believe it. Man, this just tells you the talent pool that we have in South Africa. I feel like maybe it's also time that the national team actually hires a coach that hails from South Africa, because we do have talented coaches here in South Africa. They may not be coaching in the big teams in the country, but they are there. There is talent in this country. And these guys, what they all have in common is they all play the South African way. They may play different styles, but they all play the South African way. And I know for a fact that if one of them was to be hired, the country would easily rally behind them. Like Hugo Bruce, he did a brilliant job. He took us as far as he could, but now we need one of our own. We need one of our own. We need one of our own. Hey, peace and love, peoples. Please like, comment, feel free to subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, leave a comment, please. Peace.